The Offa's Dyke Path. 177 miles in 12 days from the Sedbury Cliffs near Chepstow in the south to Prestatyn in the north in July and August 2010. Offa's Dyke, an earthwork built between 757 and 796 AD by Offa, the powerful Anglo-Saxon king of Mercia, to establish a frontier between his kingdom and the Welsh. The dyke consists of a high bank and a wide, deep ditch and can be traced with gaps from the River Severn to the River Dee. After I completed my first long-distance walk, Wainwright's Coast to Coast, I was bitten by the bug and I couldn't wait to do another one. My son Alex was keen to join me, so the following summer we decided to walk the Offa's Dyke Path, which straddles the wild and stunningly beautiful borderlands between England and Wales. The path crosses the border on numerous occasions, 2/3 being in Wales and 1/3 in England. The Welsh marshes have always felt like my spiritual home, partly because my ancestors on my father's side came from that area, and partly because I was drawn to live in Herefordshire for 5 years during my early 20s. They are steeped in history and magic. It was here that an amateur archaeologist, Alfred Watkins, experienced a revelation while standing on a hillside in Bredwardine in Herefordshire in 1921, and saw the apparent arrangement of straight lines linking ancient features in the British landscape. He subsequently termed them ley lines. A few nerdy facts. The Welsh name for the Offa's Dyke Path is Llwber Llwyd Offa. The dike is almost 65 feet wide and up to 8 feet high in some places, while flat in others. Highest point, 2,297 feet on the Hatterall Ridge. Biggest mistake. After completing Wainwright's Coast to Coast, I made the mistake of thinking that the Offa's Dyke Path would be a stroll in the park in comparison, and I planned longer days on the trail to compensate. Big mistake, especially since I hadn't bargained for the severity of the Shropshire Hills, which seemed to involve one short, sharp, steep ascent after another. I had also forgotten that my 17-year-old son was physically capable of so much more than me, and I almost had to run to keep up with him all the way from Chepstow to Prestatyn. It's a miracle I survived, but survive I did. Highlights. The Wye Valley and Tintern Abbey were our first highlights. Here is a view of the Wye Valley, seen from the Devil's Pulpit, with Tintern Abbey in the background. Here are the Gothic ruins of Tintern Abbey, a former Cistercian abbey. Lunch break along the River Wye. The Hatterall Ridge in the Black Mountains was another highlight. Here I am, starting out along the 10-mile-long Hatterall Ridge. The Hatterall Ridge seems to go on forever and ever. Our third highlight was Hay Bluff. View from the top of Hay Bluff featuring Alex's sweaty sock in the foreground. Lunch break on Hay Bluff. Descending Hay Bluff. Our fourth highlight was the Montgomery Canal. The partially restored Montgomery Canal, which fell into disuse in 1936, is 35 miles long and has 25 locks. It runs from the Llangollen Canal to Newtown via Llanymynech and Welshpool. It is a haven for wildlife. Our fifth highlights were Llangollen, and the Llangollen Canal. Day 9, the Llangollen Canal. After slipping on a stile and hurting my leg quite badly, I opted to take the low-level route into Llangollen along the canal towpath, while Alex went for the official high-level route along the Panorama Walk. This is the River Dee at Llangollen on day 9. Our final highlight as we approached the end of the trail was the Clwydian Range. Day 10, climbing up into the Clwydian Range. Clwydian Range en route to Bodfori. Scariest incident. On day 7, I slipped as I was climbing over one of the numerous stiles strung along the trail and badly bruised my right shin bone. Apparently there used to be 650 stiles along the Offa's Dyke path, but many of these have now been replaced with kissing gates. The sensible course of action would have been to stop and rest up for a few days to allow my injury time to heal. But we were committed to completing the trail and I didn't want to disappoint Alex. Also, we had competition. For several days we had been walking neck and neck with another couple of walkers and the competition was becoming fierce. There was no way we were going to let them beat us. So I applied copious amounts of arnica, gritted my teeth and walked for 3 days in considerable pain. And, amazingly, I walked my way through the injury. I still have a dent in my right shin bone to remind me of my carelessness, and now I am always extremely careful when tackling stiles. Here is an example of one of the new kissing gates just outside Chepstow at the beginning of our journey. This is one of the remaining wooden stiles, but not the stile which I slipped on. And here is another stile at the start of day 3, en route to Hay-on-Wye. And yet another stile, en route to Kington on day 4. Do you think this qualifies as a stile? Castles and fortifications. Not surprisingly, for a part of the country that was blighted by civil unrest for many centuries, there are a considerable number of ruined castles and other fortifications located along or near the Offa's Dyke path. The first of these is Chepstow Castle, which looms large above the River Wye as the trail leaves the town. Chepstow Castle, the oldest stone-built castle in the UK. Fortified gatehouse on Monnow Bridge in Monmouth. Although we carried a compass, we only needed to use it once because our maps and the waymarking were pretty good the whole way. Having said that though, we did get lost a couple of times, most notably on our second morning when we were trying to get out of Monmouth of all places. We spent almost an hour trying to extract ourselves from a huge housing estate, and even the local postman couldn't help us. Lunch on the Dyke en route to Knighton. Beacon Ring en route to Welsh Pool on day 6. The Beacon Ring Hill Fort, Caer Dingle, was built and occupied during the Iron Age, between about 700 BC and AD 60. Moel Arthur, an impressive Iron Age hill fort in the Clwydian Range, en route to Bodfori. Fortunately, we didn't have to climb up and over it because the trail skirts the top by running round to the right, as can be seen on this photo. Mother and son moments. White Castle, one of a trio built by the Normans to secure their hold on that part of Gwent. The castle owes its name to the plaster that once covered its walls. getting ready to start the final day of our walk outside our haunted B&B. Encounters with four-legged friends. Yep, we got chased at varying stages of the walk by a whole range of livestock: horses, sheep, cows and dogs. They don't tell you about that in the guidebooks. Alex discovered that having a stick came in quite handy at times. Day 4, Alex being pursued by the shigs. Sheep-pig mutation. This one looks quite suspicious. These look just adorable. Day 9, en route to Llangollen. A double-headed horse sculpture on the Oswestry Old Racecourse. This is a boundary marker with a split personality and differing ambitions, one determined to gallop into Wales and the other intent on crossing Shropshire. Oops, this horse took an unhealthy interest in Alex on the Bodfari to Prestatyn stage. The horse in hot pursuit as Alex legs it across the field. Safety provided by a stone stile. Day 9, en route to Llangollen. This horse looks pretty safe. Friendly cat on day 1. And another one. More typical scenery. En route to Kington on day 4. A charming house en route to Welshpool on day 6. Don't you think this house looks haunted? Churchtown in the Clune Valley. Day 9, en route to Llangollen. Kindred Spirits. I wonder who lives in these witchy houses. Prestatyn. Arriving jubilant in Prestatyn at the end of our marathon journey. Lessons learnt. Wet stiles can be a danger to life and limb. Do not underestimate the severity of the Shropshire Hills. Not all farm animals are friendly.